3. We're live, Mr. Wade.
Pleasant,
Chairman? Yes, sir.
pleasant good night to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad. Welcome again to our 148th edition of Belizean Affairs. We again, we are about people and nation. We talk about the things that most of the media houses do not talk about. And we call out who needs to be called out. If they do wrong, we call out the wrong that we see, because not everybody see the wrong. So I have to specify, we see, right, and the good that they do, because we are not about any political party in showing favoritism, or not talking up about that one, or not talking down on that one, or vice versa. We're not about that. If they do good, we say they do good. We don't care who they are. And if they do bad, we are not afraid, like I say, to call it out. There's a lot going on in our country. Some of the news, well, most of the news is being dissected, and you don't get everything. But when we know about something, we speak about it in the entirety. We not dissect nothing. We tell you raw as it is. So, like I say, we have some that loves us and some that hates us, and that's their prerogative. That's their right. That's their God-given right. Just like the God-given right for us to speak out, to speak truth, and not afraid to do so. And we call a spade a spade. As always, we start our program with a prayer and then a reading. Like I say again, we are not a program that is a church program. No, but we realize and we know that there is a God, and we are still, some of us are godly people, and we respect the Bible, because that's the law of the world. Should be the law of the world. Um, we have one creator, the Almighty. He created heaven and earth. No one else that I know about, right? Or heard about. So we give the Almighty his respect. And on that note, I called on my next host, Mr. Leonard Brackett. He's the Friday night chairman. He has the Friday nights, and we expect Gregory, who has the Monday night shows. So I has the Wednesday night shows, and thanks be to God. Leonard, I call on you, my brother, to lead us in a prayer, and then give us a word.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead, my brother.
I'll just bow my head for a second. Divine loving Father, thou who art the creator of heaven and earth and all that in them are, into thy hands we commend ourselves once more, asking that thou would continue to have mercy upon us, that thou would continue to guide us, bless us, grant us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and perseverance, that we may be able to pursue our efforts on these programs to bring elucidation and enlightenment to our Belizean people at home and abroad. Please continue to bless all of our family members, friends, and loved ones, wherever they are, as if they were all mentioned by name and number. To nourish their hearts and their desires, as well as their secret thoughts, to loving Father. We pray that thou will continue to bless people who are in need of food, clothes, and shelter and safety, people who are being hurt, sometimes for no justifiable reason. Please continue to have mercy upon us here, loving Father, for we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Leonard. Can you give us a word, please?
Yes, sir. Just a second. I'll read from Proverbs chapter 13, and I'll start at verse 1. Reads as follows: A wise son heareth his father's instructions, but a scorner heareth not rebuke. A man shall eat good by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the transgressor shall eat violence. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. The soul of the sluggard desireth, and he had nothing, but the soul of the enlightened shall be made fat. A righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame. And that's the end of the reading for tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you
You're
for
welcome, sir.
that prayer and the reading. Leonard, and my people, both at home and abroad, who listens to us, and for the diaspora that maybe may not know, what's really going on in our country, because there are a lot of us Belizean scattered around the world. Leonard, my people, and they do not know what's going on here in Belize. And most of them are Leonard, or Belizean brothers that, abroad, do have some kind of ties, some kind of family member here in
Mm-hmm.
this country. So I urge them to start to, show some interest. Watch the news, call a loved one or call a friend and find out what's really going on in this country. Because if if they don't, then they think that everything is all peachy and dandy, which is not. We have a lot of ills in our country, like other part of the world, but you know we we are patriotic Belizeans, and we advocate for our country, and we want good for our country, same as any other individual who was born in another country want good for their country. But you know I I blame what's really going on in our country on our people here, because we are the ones that should, not may or will, or we should dictate as
Mm-hmm.
to what goes on in our country. We should call out when our leaders are straying, when their leaders are not living up to their morals, when their leaders are not doing right by the taxpayers' dollars, when their leaders are not doing right by our natural resources, right? Why, I can't see why we are not vocal on these issues, right? We are to blame because every time an election comes around, we are being compromised. We are being bought out for that little moment. And after that little moment, we go right back to poverty, right to the ills, right? To all the wrongs, to all the corruption, right back after after we prostitute our votes, because that's what we do. We prostitute it. And then we turn around and we vex. Right? Oh, I shouldn't have me. But golly, man, you know, we need to do better, man. Right? For our country to advance, for our country to be better, for our people to be better, we have to be the advocate in our country. We have to advocate and set the pace for what we want. Let's put an end to the greed of the politician, our leaders. Self-greed, we got to put an end to that. And there is a way it could be done. So I call on the people of this nation, man, stop prostituting your votes. Stop that, man. Right? It's not doing us any good. And I'm pretty sure it does you good only for maybe a couple of hours. And then whatever they give you is gone, done, finished. Then you got to live with yourself for another 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. Right? Man, do better, man. There's a lot going on in our country, the constant blackout, and you hear the rumbling from the prime minister and the government, the chairman of the BEL. You hear, the rumbling that things will be better, and there is a light on the end of the tunnel, and the prime minister visit Mexico, and they, instead of they pay their bills, look like Mexico it give them a run, and will give them more grid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and that doesn't stop here. You hear about the money he gets for to fix that
Build
problem, right? And does that
a,
problem
to
solve?
build
No.
to build a solar farm.
So, yeah, is that problem solved? No. You hear about the $90 million for making our healthcare better in this country. Do they start do anything on that yet? No. We see the CT scan that was a big issue, and still it's not useful to a lot of the problems that Belizeans have, right? It's only good for certain. You hear it from the doctor himself, what that CT scan will do, right? It will not. It's not a multi-service CT scan, and when the government and the health minister lies to the country, 2024, and we still having these issues, right? I mean, come on, these people. What kind of a leaders we have in this country? Where is their interest? Do they want to make life better for Belizeans, for people? No, right? All they do is talk, and do not do anything. They talk, get the money, get the grants and the loans, and do nothing with it. They do not do what they're supposed to do with it. And it's a continuous repetitious cycle, right? For decades now. When will betterment come? When will they do the right thing, right? The fires in our country, right? One I heard, on the news the other day that a certain individual says, um, we are lack of the fire department, lack of equipment, lack of manpower. But I bet you, if there's a fire pop up in a Fort Charge, right? One of them minister or Orange Walk Central, right? You'll have all the fire equipment there to work, right? Come on, man. These kinds of things got to stop. These kind of political rhetoric got to stop, man. Do what's right by people where it's deserving. People down south upon, in fact, the whole country is burning out of control right now, right? And then we have the lands department, right, who fail to do right by regular band Belizean, right? That they keep prostituting our natural resources. They use it for political gain, past and present. These things really hurt some people, knowing that we have people out there who need one leave 50 by 50 who cannot get it to build a leave house, then cannot get it. Some of them have their application in for 15, 20 years and cannot get a piece of uh, a piece of land for building a house. When other entities could come and get 2,500, 1,500, 1,000, just like that. You see real estate companies popping up all part of this country. Where they come from, I do not know. And then get the title in one day, then get ownership, a prime location in one day. What kind of connection these people got that the poor people cannot get, that band Belizean cannot get? And sadly, when these real estate get these properties, these land, it's all about hustle. And then get it all in the name of say I get it to help the poor people. When poor people can't buy 150 by 100 when they get it and we sell it. Big gain, big business, big
Mm-hmm.
hustling. That shouldn't be happening, man. Right? And it's not now, it's a repetitious cycle. And my people, hurricane season, it's just a little reminder, I had to go through, but you know, we need to, keep this in mind. The hurricane season is just days away. Prepare yourself. Try prepare yourself and make the necessary arrangement, because we know that the government will not help you. They will help their cronies, their
Mm-hmm.
close friends, and their political operative. Not the person, not the. There are lots of UDP right now that got affected. They've been blown down from the last hurricane and still did not get a help because it's a PUP government. And these people are known UDP supporters, so they get zipped, right? So it's the same thing that's going to happen again. It's the PUP government, and God forbid, we get a disaster, hurricane pass through again. These poor people that are known UDP will not get the help again. I know what I'm telling you. Although they will come on the news and sometimes with tears in their eyes that they help everybody. Damn lie,
Mm-hmm.
right? I am testament to that I could point out people, right, that did not get the help where their houses was leveled, their farms was leveled. Did they get a penny? No. Did they get a nail? No. Did they get a 2 by 4? No. But yet you hear them come and say they had helped everybody. My people and the world, damn lie, right? And like I say, I call on the government, please do right by our retirees. Pay them. Pay our retired servicemen and women who had served, going for 2 years, year and a half, that they have not received their benefit. As I speak, when you could give Ashcroft $76 million in one day, why can't you help these people that are deserving, Belizean, that are deserving, right? That it's rightfully theirs, their money. Why can't you give them their money? Why there is so much red tape? There is so much problem for these people get their money? Come on, sad. Retired nurse, retired policeman, retired BDF, retired public servant man. When people serve better, uno crooks of a politician, right? Serve better, uno. But when uno retire, uno get one hefty, hefty hefty retirement check and perks, okay, it all the way till best a funeral service, get best a send off.
Mr. Wade, can I say one other thing on that before you leave about when they
Right,
retire? You
go
mentioned
ahead.
about when they retire just now. Can I add something on top of that? Some of them, before they retire, they go and borrow money on their retirement income from banks. In other words, they get the money up front by borrowing against it, and then they pay back, you know,
Yes, yes,
in payments.
yes,
But I
yes.
mean,
So
all kind of perks. Basically,
all
that
kind
is
of
one of the
perks.
perks in addition to what
Yes,
you was mentioning. I was
yes,
trying to put
man.
out.
So sad, Mr. Man. So sad, Mr. Prime Minister, and yet you gonna pass all that crap, and venom that, that not your fault, and that the bookkeepers and the this year department and that department. Man, come on. You have to be ashamed of yourself, right? So if you had that power to give Ashcraft $76 million of the taxpayers' money in one send off, man, come on. Why can't you? Why you not got a power for do the same thing for the poor BDF soldier where retire man when he don't spend it 20, 30 years? Or the poor policeman who don't spend it 20, 30 years? Why are you doing this, man? Do you think that these people like what you are doing to them? So just be careful of karma, Mr. Man, Mr. Government, okay? And my people, let's not forget the ICJ here. We're talking about it. We keep talking about it. And not forget what they're trying to do with our constitution, right? Not forget, and not forget that this government and past government are one of the gross violators of our constitution, right? Not forget them pass draconian laws that them pass on the poor people to suppress them, the poor and less fortunate. They not pass law, you know, where for help poor people, no. They pass law for put poor people more in the gutter, right? So just to sink you more and more and more. And the constant harassment of the Guatemalan armed forces in the Sarsoon. Constant, and it will get worse. My people, not forget the high price of fuel in our country, Not forget that. And the high price of basic food item. When you hear the food man, the agriculture man says, Belize have food security. We have food secure up with yang yang, so we don't have to worry. And we are in a sugar crisis again, right? Up and down with the sugar. When we have two sugar mill, that this kind of situation, shortage of sugar, shouldn't be happening, right? And not forget the Mayan claim, right? See what this PUP government did to squash that off a little bit, but that not gone away no way, right? Don't forget the problem down south, right? And don't forget the sweetheart deal with Portugal, right? And Ashcraft, right? The best settlement Ashcraft could ever give Belize, this last one with Briseño, right? The best thing that ever happened, the best deal he made with Ashcraft, right? And with the port, right? And our people, right? Not forget how this past and present government has our country as a defenseless papa. Defenseless papa,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are lots of that. We talk about that a lot, right? How it happened and why it happened, and it shouldn't happen if they do the right thing. And sadly, the economy is bad in this country. Listen to this man when he say, everything is bright and beautiful. Bright and beautiful only with him and his friends and cronies and family, right? But the Jan public out there, things is bad. People barely could buy ramen now. Barely, right? Inflation, bad inflation in our country. Our social and economic well-being is not good. The highest crime rate, the drug-infested situation in our country, black youths killing up each other, gang-infested, cartel-infested, mafia-infested country, and our youths have no future in this country, no future. and a country that is being run by politics. This country, if you're not political connected, you are doomed. If you don't know some kind of politician, some kind of crook in politics, you are doomed in this country, okay? I know what I'm telling you. My people, we should be educated enough. We should be educated enough, right? And do the right thing, right? We should start praying more, right? Because, man, we need to turn to God. Some of these politicians need to put a little godliness in their heart, right? So anyway, I could go on and go on, but we want to talk about the redistricting, and may God bless Belize, no? But we want to talk, Leonard, about the redistricting, man, because it's way past due, and I noticed that it's been vented, especially on I watched a program on Plus TV where we had 2 days ago with Paul Morgan, Arthur Saliva, and Bobby Lopez. They were talking about the latest situation, about the redistricting. You want to, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
comment on that, and I know you have a vast knowledge of, at, about the redistricting and what you think about it, and that it's past due, way past due. Why they're holding it up, only they know. So, I pass it over to you, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Uh, I want to say that from 1997, I've been flagging this issue. I have been making predictions and postmortem of all the elections since then. And in those reports that I've produced, there's a two-page section of that report that deals specifically with this issue of trying to get the previous government and even to today, the present government, to honor our constitution and fulfill their obligations to the populace of our country. Because it's unseemly that you can have one division have less than 2,000 people in there that has a representative, and another division that has up to 9,000, almost 10,000 people in there, which is 5 times as much, which means that the people that live in the division that have 10,000, 9,000 to 10,000 are basically not being adequately represented. Because there, instead, they have the same equal number of voters voting for their representative. It takes 5 times as much of their people to vote for one representative as it takes to vote for the people them in the divisions where they'll have less than 2,000. And that is what the Constitution speaks to, and I've been complaining about for all these past decades now, and which the Belize progressive movement had taken to court and was successful in getting a court order demanding that the government complies with the Constitution. It appeared that the government did not want to appear to be a scofflaw, so they authorized the Election and Boundaries Department to go ahead and make some little shady motions. And what the Election and Boundary did not meet the requirements. They submitted that as well to the House, and the House sat on it. They never debated, they never concluded on it, because some of them didn't want their divisions to be changed. And as a matter of fact, they were proposing to even lock out some persons, combine some divisions, and have some people get, like eliminated basically. Have no divisions to run in, unless they go and run in a division where one of the other colleagues were already established. The bottom line is that the government needs to do what they were ordered to do. How they can find so much energy to try and comply with the meeting of the law as regards to the Mayan land rights issue, and they can't find the necessary level of effort to expend on behalf of the whole nation's issue. That tells you what kind of mindset these people have. They're not serious about being accountable. because, of course, they don't believe that nobody can bring them to account. They now have to go back to court with another election looming. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a by-election within less than 90 days. Well, at least that's what's supposed to happen. The Prime Minister hasn't called it yet, but it was supposed to be called within 90 days. The seat is vacated in Toledo East by virtue of the death of Honorable Mr. Spot. And it is my suspicion that the government will not complete the task to have those redivisioning properly done, so that that election within 90 days could be held under the new redivisioning and or new numbers. And they're going to go ahead and have to have that election by law. It is required within the 90 days, but they will use the same old bogus information. And as a political strategist, I can tell you that once they get to that threshold and are allowed to use that old information, they're going to try and run the next general election a few months after that on the basis of the same old information without it being properly or adequately addressed. So these guys are a bunch of scofflaws. Not only are they vultures, hyenas, and whatever else not because of their kleptocratic behavior and their hustling, they don't care for our present constitution, which is why they're trying to change it. And they have no regards for the courts of the land, which is why they disrespect the orders from the court. And the Belizean people keep electing them over and over. Oh, it's my party. I want to vote for the people in my party. Not okay if they want broomstick, then put up there and dress up. We want still to vote for her. Like the old saying goes. And that is really sad, because that's not how a modern democracy, as small as our democracy is, that is not how a modern democracy should be working. These guys should have some shame. They should have some patriotism. They should have some professionalism. They should have some ethics. They should have morals. And they should have some pressure brought on them. But the only one could bring that pressure on them is either the court, the police department, the prosecutor's department, and it seems to me all of them are beholden to the government. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to exercise their power that is vested in them as a separate entity. The police could go and arrest whoever they want to arrest when they're ready. But they don't arrest the big criminals in the country. They don't go after them. They make SOEs and they not put them in jail. They know who the big boys are. They go after the small man. We don't got no representation, no money, and no legal assistance to help fight back. But that being said, I go back again, Mr. Chairman, because there's
Thank you.
more topics and more things that I would like to comment on later on. No?
Yeah, thank you. Leonard. Like I said, this redistricting, I don't know why, for the hell of it, they are afraid to conclude this thing, right? I don't know why it's so hard for them to say, well, like, for charge have X, Y, and Z, right? And Kyle South have X, Y, and Z, and the balance, right? We know they have equal representation. Mesopotamia only have a couple of hundred people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the balance up. Look on Stan Creek West, look on Toledo, right? The balance up, right? And these people, Leonard, like, the Belize City crowd, they have the most voice in this country, right?
Mm-hmm.
They dictate what should and shouldn't happen in this country with only little bit of voters, little bit of representation, which is it's not right. Where is the fairness? Where where is respecting the Constitution, right? Where we should have equal representation. Why Shine Barrow no want to give up a couple of hundred people where he got? Why Musas no want to give up the couple of hundred people where they have and make it all three of them constituency? They smile, put all of them together and make one so that it could match up with Kyle South, Stan Creek West. You don't need no rocket science, man, to see where the equality is not there, equal representation is not there, and these people get the amount of money they get for their community votes, their constituency, free money, right? With a little bit of people, and when the other constituency will have more voters, more representation, get less than these people, some of them, right? Where is the fairness? They get less things done, right? All the perks goes to the Belize City crowd, to the Musas crowd, right? Which is not right. And the court already ordered that the election and boundaries should make this thing right, man. And this thing should have gone to the House of Representatives already and make it right. But like you said, they keep dragging their feet, right? They don't want to give up power. None of them want to give up power. They don't want to give up the taxpayers' money. They don't want to give up the perks, right? They don't want to give up corruption, right? Because that is what they live by. Look at Fort George. Compare Fort George voting populace to Stan Creek West or Toledo East, right? Compare that and see where it's not right, and the fairness is not there, man. So I hope that they take a serious look on the wrongs that they're doing and make it right, right? And you hear them talking about, yeah, well, we want to make things right. Well, make it right. They only talk, right? So, as it is right now, the redistricting is a very hot subject, right? Because now again, we go, like Leonard just mentioned, we're going to have a by-election, right? And do these people want to give up anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to, right? So, I mean, everything in this country is, like I said earlier, run with politics, right? Politics is in everything. In doing right, politics have to be involved in that, right? So, it's a sad situation, man. Very, very sad. And to see how these people do not honor the Constitution, right? Because the Constitution clearly says that, we need equal representation in the country. Equal. We're part of the word equal. Do these leaders do not understand? The PUP do not understand that, and the UDP do not understand that, right? I mean, uno born with power in our hand. Power is given to you. Power is given, right? And as it is right now, right, some of these constituency, it's too small, right? And if you left to someone uno want smiling there some more, make them smaller, so that uno could involve more crooks, right? Government, uno politician, PUP and UDP, we need to cut cut on the politician. We need to cut the representation. Cut it short instead of 31. Make it 15, right? Make it 15 or 16 instead of 31, right? But no want to do that because somehow no one get, somehow no one get, no one eat. Dead for hungry, right? The hustling will stop. The stealing will stop. The corruption will stop. That's what we need in this country. Make government smaller. That's what we need, right? But anyway, I understand they're going to table some bill on Thursday. That's tomorrow, in the House. Um, um, in respect to redistricting, something they will do tomorrow. I call on the voters of this country, right? Tell Uno era representative that Uno want redistricting completed before the next general election. Before, not after, right? Then we might be getting equal representation. But again, I call on the people and voters of this country, right? On a PUP voter, a UDP voter, call on them, right? Call on a elected representative for tomorrow and tell them that UNO want the redistricting completed, right? Which is far due, right? It's 15 years far due, past due, right? You not pay your electricity bill for 1 month and you see where they do it. You pay your light bill, not pay your water bill 1 month and you see where you pass due, see where they do with you. So same thing, you tell them that you want this bill that is past due to be tabled, right? And done before the next year election. Go ahead there,
Mr.
Leonard.
Chairman, I was able to pull up one of the reports that I was speaking of for the general election.
Okay.
And this one here is the last one that was done. But like I said, I've been doing this from 1997.
Okay.
This one, I'll just read what it says. Page number 8 and item number A7. Belize House of Representatives General Election, 11th of November 2020. Final forecast with tabulated results and analysis. Belize Elections and Boundaries Commission data for 11th of November 2020 plus LA Brackett projected demographic impact data and analysis. Projected for 11th of November 2020 general elections and modified by Leonard Brackett on the 2nd of November. That was just before the election of 2020. This particular page here, I'm not dealing with the whole report. I'm just pulling up this particular page here to read off some of the stuff that was on there in context with what you have been stipulating just now about the election and the numbers and how they were being played with, even as of today date.
Yes, sir.
So the title of this particular page says Demographic Numerical Variances between Existing 31 Electoral Divisions, Registered Unregistered Electors, based on analysis. It says the Constitution of Belize it's kind of dark. I'm not making out too well, but the Constitution of Belize and registered electors by divisions as of September 20th, 2020. But just bear with me for a second. Okay. projections of win and loss, summary per above, analysis of page number 1 through page number 5. And page 1 through 5 is actually the detailed analysis of the election itself, what the projection turned out to be in terms of the analysis that I did for the election that was then coming up, because this was done earlier in November, like I stipulated. This was done on the basis of the September cutoff date for the election that was to come. So I'm reading this now, retrospectively now with hindsight, years after the incident occurred, right? So please bear with me as I'm trying to explain that. It says Section 90 of the Constitution of Belize says that each electoral division shall have, as nearly as may be, an equal number of persons eligible to vote. Oh, no, I got it a little better. I don't have a lot extra stuff. And then I go on to say, number one, therefore, it should not be desirable to have some electoral divisions with less than 4,000 registered electors for Fort George and Messop, while many other electoral divisions have 6,000 and close to 9,864, as in the case of Sun Creek South, Sun Creek West, registered electors, as noted in the records. Registered electors by division as of September 20th of the general election for the Belize House of Representatives for the upcoming November 11th, 2020 election. Item number 2, I went on to say, and because it is to be expected that the demography will continue to change or increase by the next general election for the Belize House of Representatives at a date yet uncertain and beyond. And because the electoral division's boundary should not be altered every general election, but rather should be able to accommodate reasonable expansion to the numbers of registered electors per division, modified as reasonable needed. And whereas item number 4, the reallocation registered electors for some divisions as proposed by the Belize Elections and Boundary Commission of 205 Task Force of the 205 Task Force report authorized by the Electoral Division by polling areas on redivision of electors, divisions of Act number 11 of 2005, and subsequent demographic changes to post redivisioning and latest registration as of September 2020 is still I'm reading, and uh, Mr. Wade disappeared off my screen. I'll continue reading for so I can close off this particular item here, and I'll try and see what went on. Try and see if I can get him back if he doesn't shows up on his own. Let me finish reading number 4. Post revision and latest registration as of September 2020 is still contravening the spirit and intent of the Constitution of Belize. That is, Fort George is 1,874, less than 2,000. Messop is 2,277. Belmopan is 8,728. Stan Creek West is 9,864. So then, uh, as further attempt to adjust the intent and spirit of Section 90 in the Constitution of Belize as regards to each electoral division have as nearly as may be an equal number of persons eligible to vote, which was contravened during the during the 4th of November 15 general election. Fort George could have 3,084. Lake Independence could have 6,305. Stan Creek West was actually 9,092. Belmopan was 9,253. Largest, the largest division was 3 times the smallest division, and which will be contravened again on the 11th of November, which was the upcoming election at that time. For Fort George of 1,800, Stan Creek West at 98, at 9,800, which was the largest, is still 5 times plus smaller. Uh, I don't see the chairman in the background still. I have two more paragraphs to finish read. I'll just try and finish read them. Uh, Wherefore, in light of the above observations, it's not far-fetched to propose that electoral divisions start with an approximate 4,000 registered electors and grow to an approximate 7,000 registered electors. Unlike the past three, the past 3-1, or current trend. Last item, number 7, I went on to say, therefore, a margin spread difference of approximately 3,000 registered electors per division would not then appear as unseemly or violating the spirit of the Constitution, Section 90, as currently occurring and will occur again on the 11th of November 2020. That was only one page of the report. Like I said, it's a long report. And every time when there was a general election, I always put out those projections and I try to get the election and boundaries to address the matter. And they had never actually did so. We have lost our chairman, and I'm wondering what is it that I can do now to retrieve him. Uh, if you can bear a second with me, I'll just try and give him a call to see maybe if he needs my help to get him back on or whatever I can do to get him back on. Just bear a second with me on the show, please. Mr. Red. Okay, here. I'm just trying to give him a call to see if he's unable to get back. Okay, I'll try another means of getting in touch with him. Let's call. Uh, I guess might be having some satellite problems. Yeah, I can hear the satellite beeping in the background, but I'm not getting the calls through. Try 2 different ways just now to reconnect with him. So I'll just carry on for right now. Okay, it's not working. Okay, so just give me another couple of seconds here. I'll try a different approach to what I was trying to get done just now. Let's see. Let's go. And okay, I'm heading. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and pull up the Constitution of Belize for a second here. Let me read off exactly what it states there in detail. Okay, I'm just trying to pull up my electronic copy of the Constitution of Belize. I'm there right now, and then I just got to find the particular section that I would like to address. Okay, so I'll go to section 90. What is this? Oh, I passed it. Section 90. Yeah, down to go to 90. I got to back up a little bit. 92, 91. Okay, here we go. We're getting close. Okay, so I'll turn it sideways. Hope I don't lose it. 91. No, I passed it again. Okay. So basically, thank you for bearing patience with me just now. I had to switch to my next electronic device in order to pull up the Constitution of Belize, from which I'm about to read Section 90, that is being referred to over and over, and which was the cause for the government to have been pulled into court by the Belize Progressive Movement. And Section 90 reads as follows. Section 90, subsection 1. The Elections and Boundaries Commission shall, after considering the electoral division or distribution of the population throughout Belize, shall make proposals from time to time for dividing Belize into electoral divisions in such a way that, paragraph A, each electoral division shall have, as nearly as may be, an equal number of persons eligible to vote. That is, that Stan Creek West should not have 9,800 and odd voters, while Fort George have 1,800 plus voters. And therein lies the crux of the problem. You have two divisions in Belize. Mesopotamia division, another one that has about 2,000. Queen Square, another division that has about 2,000. Albert division, another one that has about a little over 2,000. If you put all four of those divisions together, they still do not make up the 10,000 that Belmopan have, or that Sand Creek West has. So you can see that Belize has 4 representatives for the one that Sand Creek have in Sand Creek West. That shouldn't be. That's what the Constitution is talking about when it says that that particular issue shouldn't happen in that kind of way. I'll read this part here, part B of subsection 1 of section 90. Part B reads as follows: the total number of electoral divisions shall be not less than 28. So just now, uh, my colleague and panelist, Mr. Wade, was proposing that there could be maybe a reduction of the divisions to maybe 15 or 16. But according to the requirements here, is that it is expected that it should have not less than 28. That's easy to do. Cut out three of the Belize divisions then. No, I mean that's a crazy proposition too, because it's not likely. But if Belize have four divisions that all put together makes up less than one Sand Creek division, then something is seriously wrong and it needs to be addressed. Subsection 2 of section 90 reads as follows: in fixing the boundaries of electoral divisions, the Commission shall have regards to the transport and other facilities of the division and to its physical features in order to facilitate those people living in those divisions being able to get to their polling station and cast their vote adequately. Subsection 3 of section 90 reads as follows: the proposals of the Commission made pursuant to this section shall be laid before the National Assembly, which was done by the chairperson of the Commission, and the electoral division specified in those proposals shall be the electoral divisions of Belize for the purposes of any law for the timing being enforced relating to the election of members of the House of Representatives, when and shall not be such electoral divisions until enacted as law by the National Assembly. So right now, even though the election and boundary did a little sleight of hand, pretending to be fulfilling its obligation, they passed that information to the House, and the House is sitting on it. According to the Constitution, right here in section 90, subsection 3, it says that the House should take care of their house cleaning and their business, which is why they are elected, to serve the interests of the country and the voting population that votes them or grant them that power to take care of the business of the country, and they are not. Section 90, subsection 4 reads as follows: when the Elections and Boundaries Commission considers it necessary to increase the numbers of electoral divisions as specified in subsection 1 of this section, it shall make proposals to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly may enact a law to give effect to such proposals with such amendments and modifications as may seem appropriate to the National Assembly. So it's not because they don't have the lawmaking power to take care of business and to do what's right. It's because they just choose to be scofflaw and ignore the Constitution requirements imposed on them by virtue of being the people who are entrusted with the power of governance. There's also a section here, section 90, which deals with, it says, any redivision of electoral divisions effected in accordance with section 90 of this Constitution shall, in respect of the election of members to the House of Representatives, come into operations at the next general election held after each redivision and not earlier. So they have the information that the sleight of hand information that the Commission did, which was not fully meeting the obligations of the court. And as a matter of fact, they will have to end up now going back to the court because the people that sued them are intent in having the matter being addressed. I think they were supposed to go back, if I'm not mistaken, it's sometime early this coming month, June or July. So apparently, the court will have to hear this matter and make a more extraneous ruling because the last time the government accepted a put in motion a consent decree that there the government was going to do their job the way it was designed to be done, and therefore they will satisfy the requirements of the law as well as the demand of the plaintiff who brought them to court. But they're stalling, and another election is due in less than 2 years. I would say probably a year and a half at the most. And they still have not concluded that matter. The House has not spoken. And the House, even if the House takes up the matter and decide to go ahead with what the elections and boundaries put out, they will be violating the Constitution again. We'll be right back to square one, where some divisions are going to have that much more members in that division than the other smaller divisions. And the people who are coming from the smaller division, like for example, Fort George, right? That's the craziest offender in this whole process, with less than 2,000 votes, is the person who has been trusted with our constitution review commission committee, and the person who deals with all the law matters in the country in that regards, for all intents and purposes. He is the person that is also in charge of the Election and Boundary Commission. It falls under his portfolio. So these guys don't want to make any changes or allow no changes to come into effect. They like it just as how it is. And they want to be able to carry on just as how it is. Which is why, as I stipulated earlier, that I was sitting here and I could tell you that as far as I understand the process, these jackals are about to try and pull a fast one by us again by stalling the process and then use the whole information to go ahead and run the next upcoming election instead of doing what the Constitution requires of them to do, as in Section 90 as well as Section 91, which I just read. So it's not like these guys don't know or that the matter isn't there in black and white for them to be able to see it and read it themselves. A lot of them are lawyers, like I keep repeating over and over. But they are not intending in fulfilling their obligations as lawyers and or as representatives. They have no respect and regards for our Constitution, and therefore they just dismiss it and ride roughshod over the country. I wish there was a way that we could encourage the police commissioner to go and do his job and arrest some of these scoundrels and scarflower. Or I wish maybe the Attorney General, on behalf of the people of Belize, would bring some pressure on these politicians. He's beholden to them. They appointed him, so he's not going to rock the boat. I wish the DPP would make an order to have the Constitution not be violated and or to send charges out to people who are actually violating our Constitution. Because when they're ready, they send charges out to people who they think commit a crime. And then they go to court and lose the case. Or sometimes they say, okay, well, they're not prosecuted anymore. So they know what they could do in order to put some pressure. But again, they're beholden to the PM master. So they don't want to react to both either. The end result is that we have a bunch of scofflaws running our government because they're duly elected, but they're not running the government the way the Constitution requires of them to do, or that we, the people, would expect them to do. They're just doing what the hell they want to do, and to hell with us. They don't care about us. And the system is stopped. But I'll leave that part for right now. And that was only one of the items that the chairman had brought up. And I'll try and see if I can make one last effort to get in touch with him again before the show is finished, so I can do whatever I need to do to hopefully get him on again. Uh, okay, let me go here. One more try. Oops. No. No, that's not man, that's not what I want to do. Okay, I'm babbling on. I'm not making. Please bear with me again. 1 minute. Let me see if I can get another call into Mr. Wade. See if maybe he's available, or maybe he's lost his connection or something. We still have 18 minutes more of the show to go. I was trying to see if I can recover our chairman for tonight and get him back on the program. We lost his connection a while ago, and I'm trying to call him a few times now, and it appears that there's a technical satellite issue because we're not getting the calls through. Satellite just keep beeping, and I guess he's probably trying to do the same thing to try and log back in, but he's probably not able to connect. The call just dropped. It didn't went through. Let me try one more. One more try here. It's not working. Okay. Okay. Was not able to get a hold of our chairman. I tried 4 different ways, none of which worked out. So for right now, I guess I'm gonna have to forego the effort to try and recover because I'm killing the air time. And so I'll just switch from that particular topic to a temporary topic that I could use maybe run the next 15 minutes of our program. Uh, I'll switch to an issue that relates to Belize and the Guatemalan issue. We have been having some discussion the last few days on the internet with some Belizeans at home and others abroad. And it happens that I wrote a particular state commentary, and I'll just try and include it in tonight's broadcast. In the particular commentary, about 8 hours ago, I said The following commentary was made by Leonard Brackett about British Honduras slash Belize. Belize, British Honduras in the crosshairs. I started out by saying there have always been BMN and British Hondurans and Belizeans whom advocate for the protection and preservation and territorial integrity of our patrimony and country of Belize. And I am happy and proud to count myself among them. I was a National Executive Committee member of the National Independence Party, and I was also the instigator to the creation of what the opposition working team turned out to be, as well as I was one of 10 steering committee members, managers of the Unity Congress of British Honduras, which was the opposition super bloc that amalgamated together to give birth to the United Democratic Party as an amalgamation party in Belize. That was a short commentary I made in the context of, like I said, the discussion that we were having, because the discussions we were having was about some documents that were released from the United States Department and the British Archives and the Belize Archives that relates to some activities between Belize, British Honduras at the time, Guatemala, the United States, and the UK. And the discussions are quite wide and varied throughout the last few days. And that was just a small commentary of mine, in addition to others that I had made. Uh, I want to go and pick up another commentary in the same vein or in the same context. Uh, this particular one here was okay. I'll just open up this one. This is another. This one is not. Oh well, this one is kind of long. I'll read the English translation. I made another comment too about the same topic to a gentleman who had posed a statement in Spanish, and I responded to him in Spanish. And I'll read the Spanish response that I made to him in regards to the same matter. And I titled that part Leonard Brackett Original Post in Spanish. And I said to the gentleman, ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué las Fuerzas Armadas de Guatemala siguen fingiendo que Belizeans no tiene derecho de navegar el parte del río Sarstún que pertenece a Belice, sin ser molestados por fuerzas armadas invasoras de Guatemala, que siguen cruzando las líneas fronterizas entre Belice y Guatemala, como si no saben leer sus coordinaciones del GPS para saber cuándo ellos están en aguas de Belice. Y también hablando pendejadas de protocolos, tratando de ignorar y violando el tratado fronterizo del Anglo-Guatemala Treaty del 30 de abril de 1859 a 1863, que ahora no dan respeto. I went on to say to him also in Spanish, Guatemala siempre ha codiciado los terrenos de Belice y México y El Salvador y Honduras, algunos de ellos que Guatemala peleó batallas contra y perdió. I went on to say, make a last statement to him in Spanish again. Guatemala está buscando cómo armar pleito con Belice o Belize, porque Belize no podría defenderse adecuadamente. And that was the end of the statement that I made to him in Spanish. And then I went on to translate that same statement back into English for the uh, ability of English speakers to get a context or a feel for what is it that I was intimating or saying to the gentleman in Spanish. So I said the following commentary was made by Leonard Brackett in regards to Guatemala military chiefs press conference about Sarstoon River and Belize. And that is because the Guatemalan chief, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force heads were having a press conference. And they were actually speaking ill of Belize and Belizeans because Belize and Belizeans transit the Sarstoon part of the river that belongs to them, which our constitution, that belongs to Belizeans, that our constitution, Belizean constitution, says that we are entitled to transit, and that the government has no rights or authority to stop us from transiting, much less any other foreign entity, because it is Belizean, it is within the boundaries of Belizean territory, and for all intents and purposes, we are a sovereign, independent country. And our borderline treaty that we have with Guatemala and the border itself should be respected by both countries, when in fact Guatemalans are attempting to push us around and deprive us of our rights by military means for us to be able to exercise our constitutional rights to transit that part of the territory. I titled the item, Belize being aggressed by Guatemalan armed forces. And I said, Leonard Brackett, English translation. And I started out like this. Why does the Guatemalan armed forces continue pretending that Belizeans don't have the right to navigate the part of Sarstoon River which belongs to Belize? And I went on to say further, without being harassed by invading armed forces of Guatemala that continues to cross the frontier lines between Belize and Guatemala, as if they don't know how to read their GPS coordinates for them to know when they are in Belizean waters, as well as them speaking stupidness about protocols, trying to ignore and violating the Anglo-Guatemala Boundary Treaty of 30th of April 1859 to 1863, to which they don't give respect. I went on to say another paragraph here. I said, Guatemala has always coveted the territories of Belize and Mexico and El Salvador and Honduras, some of whom Guatemala fought wars against and lost. And I close out with the last statement by saying that Guatemala is searching for ways to create a fight with Belize because Belize may not be able to adequately defend itself against the bigger nation of Guatemala. And that was the end of the translation part of the back and forth that we had with the gentleman. Of course, there were many other commentators or people who were making comments or texting back and forward, you know, with the debate. Uh, we have come to the end of tonight's program. I was unable to recover the chairman for tonight's program, and so therefore, as you noticed, I had to improvise. and I spent a bit of the time trying to pull up materials that I did not have available to me right there and then. It took me a little while. So therefore, I'd like to apologize on behalf of the chairman and myself and our other colleagues for the improvisation. Nevertheless, we didn't kill the time. We made use of the time, and we hope that whatever was said during the course of this broadcast may accrue some positive benefits, public benefit to our Belizeans at home and abroad. Thank you very much for tuning in. God bless Belizeans and Belize and Belizeans. And we hope that those of you who have tuned in tonight, uh, it would have worth your while and your effort to have tuned in. And those who will be tuning in afterwards, we hope that they will also derive some public benefit from our efforts to try and put out public information that accrue to the benefit of our country. Thank you very much. Good night. And this was the Belizean Affairs Show number 148 for Wednesday, 29th of May of 2024. Again, I was your temporary chairman. My name is Leonard Brackett, and we're looking forward to you visiting us on Friday when I'll be the chairman of the Friday meetings that deals with legal, constitutional, and other case law matters, as well as politics and economics. Thank you. God bless. Good night. Before I take off, I just want to take a second here and acknowledge Ms. Rubina Forte, who called in and said good night. And I responded to her with a care emoji, as well as I said to her, good night, Ms. Rubina. Thanks for tuning in to Belizean Affairs Show number 148. God bless always, my dear sister. And we also had a comment from Miss Lin Hen San, which I also um, posted a care emoji, and I'm going to be typing a response to her as soon as I get off the program. And good night. So it's great. Enjoy the show. God bless.